Hello, hi everyone. Welcome to our third episode of Gulf Sector. Here we are, Tara and Streamer. We are going to talk about cloud rationalization. So, cloud rationalization is part of the R studies we do in part of cloud migration. So basically, what happens, when we do what are the R factors available? If you search on the Google, there are multiple links are coming on, and all of them have their different set of R strategies. And then we did some further study, and we found like in 2011, Gartner did one study that what should we do in such cases if the CIO issues and statement like move some of the application to cloud, and then cloud architect finds it challenging, like how we should do it, what should we do it, what is the process we have to think about, what should be the criteria of evaluation. So from there they have identified 5 strategies, and over the years we have evaluated it and added some more, and now we will be showing you 6 R strategies that we are doing it in our day-to-day basis, or we have a bit of experience on that. So let's see what are those. Yeah, so we have first one is rehost. So rehost is like, suppose I have an application which is running on an on-premise VM, and then we are going to the cloud. So we have thought of with a bit of with a bit of small, if time is one of my what should I say, like assessment criteria, how quickly I can move to the cloud, then rehost would be my first thinking, like I can rehost the application on cloud without thinking of any other factor. uh, uh, can I have a VM which is running on premise. Now I will have some cloud VM. It could be Azure or AWS. And if the VM and configuration is matching, the application is good to go. So here, if you see, we don't have to think about the application code, how much code I have to migrate, or what are the things, what are the considerations I have to think while I am going to cloud. So this is a classic case of cloud migration, and this is a rehost scenario. And I have a fun example, like I have a house and I have a sofa, like that is my favorite sofa, and I am going to a flat. So I am taking the sofa with me. Nothing changes, like the sofa supposed to be a sitting arrangement, and it is doing the same in my flat. So this is basically rehost. And then we have rebuild. Rebuild means it's an basically cloud, what should I say, um, I'm building an application on cloud environment. So basically, I am building the application from scratch. It could be and using a micro. It could be a microservice, or it could be any other application. I am using all Azure PaaS services, or the services I wanted to use, and then it should propose my business study, so that I will say my rebuild. And then we have replace. Replace is like, there could be certain scenarios that the application that I have in a on premise is more costly, or it is I cannot migrate into cloud considering the other constraint it is having. And there are I have some options available in the market which can do the same task, and it is also cost effective. And I would say the other factors I have, what the application supposed to do, based on the terms of the integration capability, or the features I am having on the, or I should have on my application. And I if I have if I have a ready-made system which I am not having in my on-premise, then some of the cases I would have go for replace strategy. So basically, it's, you can say, like buying an SaaS application or some COTS application which is already available, and doing my business through it, and replacing my existing application. So which was, I was thinking, like it's this application is, I'm not able to work on this. This is having this feature, some performance issues, or I have migration is costly and it is time effective. So in this scenario, we are saying cloud replace. And then we have replatform. So let's hear from Tara, like what is cloud replatform and refactor re-architect, and what is the basic difference between them?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Rima. So, as you rightly understand, host, rebuild, and replace are there. These are kind of uh, one of the way which you can use in your strategies for cloud migration. Then comes these three things: re-platform, refactor, and re-architect. So, as we said, rehost is there where you are just moving your application from on-premises servers to the Azure servers. Similar way, in re-platform, you don't have to do anything in your application side. What you'll do, you will change the platform. So it's like earlier it was in your Azure virtual machines or in on-premises virtual machines. You will change that Windows server or you will change that on-premises server, Azure servers to maybe containers. So it's like application is same, but the platform has changed. So most of the time, which we have used this strategy is like we have moved these, like suppose there are services which were hosted in IIS in the Windows servers, we moved it to containers. Maybe in AKS, we moved it and then we are using the same services. So this is something like all you have to do is at the way of build and deployment, you have to do the changes over there, but not at the code of functionality. So that is kind of re-platform. Then comes refactor and re-architect. So both of these goes hand in hand. I'll tell you about re-architect first, because most of the time when you have a migration project where you are having the applications and you know about it that you cannot just simply lift and shift or simply re-platform it, you know that you have to do changes as per the new platform. Like now the technology which has been used in these functionality is also old, the code base is also of obsolete framework. So in that case, what you will do is maybe you will rewrite the design also, like you will re-architect the application so that it can use the new counterparts of cloud with respect to whatever was there in on-premises. And then refactoring is something like you will try to do minimum changes in the design, but then you still will update the code base, update the framework so that it can be hosted in the cloud environment. So it's like most of the time, both of these will be used together in your project so that it can be migrated to cloud. So it's like if you're doing re-architects, it's like around 90% to 100% change in your application. If you're doing refactor, it can be like 50% to 70% change in the application, which you are doing in terms of development. Yeah. So if I try to visualize these things in terms of the resources of on-premises versus the resources of Azure cloud. So it's like if you see replatform is like simply, as I said, there were servers which were in on-premises, you moved it to containers. Similarly, rehost, as Shima already said, like we moved it from the Windows servers of on-premises to Windows servers of Azure providers. Then comes refactor and re-architect. So here I have a very simple example. Like if your application is containing, suppose a file server, which is hosted in on-premises servers, and then there is one SQL database, which is again is in on-premises SQL server. And then there are Windows servers, same in virtual machines in your on-premises. So what you did is you re-architect in such a way that now you are using Azure storage account for storing the files. Then you are using Azure SQL DBs for database, and then you are using Azure SQL, Azure virtual machines for hosting the services. You can have several other options, like you can use the PaaS providers, like you can use web apps, app services, function apps for the same thing, but it will be something like this. You will be using Azure counterparts. So that's all we have for all these six. If you look into this from the cost perspective, it will be like rehost is kind of the most cost effective thing which you can do in migration. But again, it's like not for long term, like since you are still moving from just changing the infrastructure. Re-architect and rebuild are kind of the long-term support, long-term change which are actually going to give your business a better perspective and better support throughout the next years, like a lot of years. But these are costly operations which you have to do. So yeah, you have to look into it, you have to understand, you have to reevaluate your strategies, and then you can come up with any of these strategies which will be perfect for your cloud migration strategies. So that's all we have for today. Hopefully it will be helping you as we try to make it as simple as possible. We will be here with our next episode with some other information. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.